Hi everyone, hope you're well. Sitting in Bakey, just got done studying Torah with Lisa Pollack, which is great, as always. Lisa and I were reading some passages from Leon Wieseltier's book about saying Kaddish for his father, and two jumped out at us, one of which was about or three I should say. One was a beautiful realization that he has when he starts saying Kaddish, and he's doing it in a synagogue with a kind of an old study room, with an old piece of velvet cloth on the lectern where the person who's leading prayer stands, of course. We've all been in synagogues like that. And he notices that the cloth is threadbare, worn down, and he says, thick is thin, thin is thick, meaning this is the way it should be. A synagogue that is real, has a lived-in quality, shouldn't be too new and shiny, shouldn't be like the living rooms that a lot of us grew up in, where our parents didn't let us go into the living room. They had plastic on the furniture, and it wasn't really a living space. It was just a space that was kind of a display space. That's not what a synagogue should be. The velvet should be thin. The thinner, the thicker, meaning that's where life is really going on. That was one image. The second one was an image or an argument that he was in effect having with himself, but also with lots of us, which was he was struggling as a person who had grown up religious and observant and had then left that community, but then in effect came back because he felt he should say Kaddish for his father to honor his father and his tradition as a Polish observant Jew. He's struggling with the whole idea of structure and what that has to do with life and what it has to do with having meaningful spiritual experience. And he says, let's face it, the idea that says we can throw off structure and just kind of be ourselves in some more authentic way is really a myth. Meaning all of us live with all kinds of structures, whether it's the structure of a sport that we grow up playing or an art discipline that we love, playing the piano or painting. Everything in life that you want to accomplish something in has a structure to it. And Judaism has its own structure. And the question is not structure versus freedom. The real question is freedom within structure. How do you take the tools of a discipline and learn how to use them to make something that you love and that you own and that you share? And Judaism is just one of those things that hopefully we love, and a structure that we learn, maybe not master, but we learn to use to have the kind of Jewish experience, the kind of personal experience, the kind of communal experience that we want to have. And that argument about thin is thick and the value of structure, of course, is very relevant to the parashah, which is Ki Tisa, which is really all about this calamity of the golden calf, and how shocking it is for Aaron, for sure, the high priest, Moshe's brother, and also Moshe and also God. But in some ways, why were they so shocked? I mean, the reality is they were dealing with a community that was in many ways really not a community. It was really an assemblage of ex-slaves who were more Egyptian than they were Israelite. Most of their lives had been lived as slaves in Egypt. And they were processing this bizarre new reality of freedom and service to God rather than Paro. And they reverted. They reverted to what they knew, which was idolatry, and to images, and to all those things from Egyptian life that they had grown up with. And I think at that moment when God says, I want to really punish them because they're this stubborn people, I think what he's coming to grips with is the fact that it's not enough just to give people laws. It's to recognize that the process of taking laws, a new pattern, a new structure, and remaking yourself, that's a long, very non-linear process that we all go through in life. And that the reality is that they have characters that have been molded by other laws and other patterns. And he's going to have to accept the fact that humans are complex, they're chaotic, they're multi-form, and they're not one thing. We are all many things. And we have to work with our many-sidedness. So I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom, and as you struggle in your own way to both live with the beauty of Jewish structure, but with other structures, to figure out how to